Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I suppose good morning if you are elsewhere in the world, or good evening. And welcome to another episode of Conversations with Dune and Friends. I'm your host, Dune Nguyen, and today we have a wonderful guest joining us from all the way from the city of Calgary, just south of where we are, a few hours south of where I am right now. And we have the wonderful Patricia Morgan joining us. Now, Patricia is often referred to as a spunky seniorpreneur. Her ability to provide bite-sized knowledge nuggets for building resilience has helped many people emerge stronger after facing unthinkable challenges. With a MA in clinical psychology, she has authored several books on resilience and stress management. She is a recipient of the Global TV's Woman of Vision Award and the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, CAPS, Spirit of CAPS Award for her contribution to the Canadian speaking industry. She is described as a therapeutic counselor, a speaker, author, mentor, mother to 3, grandmother to 5, and happily married for most days. Her website can be found at www.solutionsforresilience.com. So again, Patricia Morgan from solutionsforresilience.com. Welcome, Patricia. Yeah. Can you hear me, Patricia?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome, and perhaps you can start off by telling us an extended background beyond the introduction that I provided there, Patricia. So any backstory, any kind of journey that you want to take us through before we start with questions and video and all kinds of different things, and helping people be more resilient throughout all the time, but particularly in these COVID times.
On these COVID times, backstory. Well, I'm missing hugs from my grandchildren. And actually, one granddaughter has made me a great grandma. So I've got 2 little guys that are great grandchildren. So quite a gaggle of kids.
Mm-hmm.
First child was planned. That was very smart of us. Second child was adopted. And the third child was, alas, our birth control didn't work.
Yeah.
This in some ways feels familiar. I grew up a poor farm kid, and we had to do with what is. And I think during this time of the COVID-19, people are being called to pay attention to what is and what they have, and to be grateful for what is in some ways, and to be grateful for what they do have. And they're also called to adjust to change.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to clarify, I've been doing counseling. I put out a call that I was willing to provide 3 counseling sessions for those people that needed support during this time. And half of the people I've been serving are almost bored. And they have chosen to go into introspection. This is a time to go inside with curiosity, with thoughtfulness, with questions about, is that the job I really want to go back to, if there is a going back to. And then the other half are cooped up with maybe a spouse, children, maybe a mother-in-law, trying to continue their work, all of a sudden having to be teacher, employee, housekeeper. The roles have multiplied and the stress is enormous. So there's no we are experiencing. It is, we are all in a place of adjusting to some kind of change. Was that what you were looking for?
You bet, absolutely. So just some sort of opening kind of a journey there. Thank you for taking us through that. So now you've been a psychologist for how long? Tell us, basically the profession of psychology and how you came about kind of getting into that field, and why you went into that field.
Why? First of all, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not allowed to call myself that in Alberta or Canada. I have a master's degree in clinical psychology, and I'm a certified Canadian therapeutic counselor.
I see, yeah.
sort of frontline doing the therapy for people. Many psychologists do psychometrics and supervision, and many of them have specialties. So I wanted to clarify that. And how did I get into it? Well, when I was 30 years old, I decided to prove that I wasn't stupid. My father used to call Mom and me the stupid females. And I took what my dad said as God speaking. So I failed grade 7. I dropped out of high school. And at the age of 30, I ended up in a therapy group, and I was asked, what are the 3 things that you want different in your life? And I said, I want to be better dressed. I want to have true friends, and I want to be educated. And
well, you got all 3, my friend. You got all 3 in spades.
Thank you. You know what? If you decide what you want and then you decide go for it, it's usually possible. Yes, so that when I was 30 years old, and by the time I was 40, I had a master's degree. And I can remember a therapist approaching me and saying, Patricia, there were easier ways to prove you're not stupid. I hope after all the money you spend, the energy you put out, the years you put in, you finally have a sense of your intelligence.
Wow, that's thank you for sharing that story. And I know that I first met you probably about 10 years ago when I first joined CAPS. Now, you joined CAPS a number of years before that. Again, CAPS, folks, is the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, of which both Patricia and I are members. And so I joined about 10 years ago, 10 and a half years ago. And you joined quite a few years before that, right? And really a strong leader in the Calgary and Alberta region, but also nationally. And tell us a bit about CAPS.
Oh, the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers?
Yeah.
Well, at that time, I had an amazing job as a feminist empowerment facilitator and therapist to women who were supported by social insurance to get them back to the workplace or back to school. And I had that job for 6 years. And at the same time, I was doing workshops for women on stress management, assertiveness training, empowerment, communication skills at the Women's Health Resources. And I was asked the very same month as I was being laid off from this job that was federally funded, the funding was canceled. I was asked to speak at a conference, a Women in Wellness conference. And I don't know what happened, but I got this crazy standing ovation, dude. People stood up. And some woman in the audience threw herself in the aisle and said, let's sing to her. And they sang, the jolly good fellow. And I went, what the heck is going on? There's about 220 women. So the organizers approached me and said, do you want to do this, Patricia? You seem to really be good at it and you seem to enjoy it. And I said, oh, well, it was kind of fun and it was interesting, but you know, the $400 you paid me, I'm accustomed to a little bit more income than that. And it must have taken me like 40 hours to get ready. I said, well, you see that woman over there we brought in for the keynote? I said, well, we paid her $5,000 and we flew her here and we put her up in a beautiful room at the Palliser Hotel. I said, oh, tell me about that. And I was given the name of the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers. And that was almost 21 years ago.
Wow, 21 years ago.
I went back working for an agency. I have a little counseling practice here in my lovely, comfortable, in the basement, international headquarters of Solutions for Resilience. I see clients, keeps me humble.
Yeah.
And then when I can, I have gone out and done speaking engagements. And that is transformed now into yakking online. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. My pleasure. I'm so glad you could join us. This is a great time to just, I'm going to show our viewers your website. And then quickly, we're going to get into that video that sort of maybe recaps what you spoke about, the speaking excitement and the speaking energy. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to be off camera so that we can feature that website there. So here goes the website coming on here. And you can still hear me, but I'm going to do this. And So tell us a bit about that. Can you see the website at this point? Yeah,
Absolutely. So
absolutely.
I have two hats I typically wear. One is kind and gentle and compassionate and being very present and helping people on their journey to go in scary places where it's hurt and sad. And then I have another part of me that's pretty outrageous, which is the speaking part of me. So I get to express fun and silliness as well as the serious. The website's a bit of a mixture. At the top is a resiliency quiz that anybody can take. It's got 25 questions. It's quite quick to take. It only takes about 5 minutes. And a score comes up. Veterans Canada, as far as I know, still using it. And the Canadian Mental Health Association was using it for quite a few years until they developed their own. So I'm quite proud of this little quiz to score your resilience, and then it gives you tips at the end after you finish the score. And then my resources are there. I have written over 250 blogs, articles that may be helpful to you. Oh, you're in the, yeah, yep, thank you. Yep. There's 2 or 3 that I've written specifically about being resilient to the fear of COVID-19. And many people who are already experiencing anxiety, their anxiety went out of the roof with COVID-19. So there's also articles about better managing anxiety, also dealing with your stress. And you can see on the right-hand side, Dune, there's categories. If you're interested in books, I've done summaries of several dozen resiliency-focused books. There's articles on communication skills, specifically on developing resilience. Positive psychology concepts are good tools for developing your resiliency muscle. And as I got older, I'm 73 right now. As I got older, I started to develop an interest in resilient aging. Of course, everybody's a day older, so the whole issue around aging doesn't have to be 65 years and up. If you're concerned, I started hearing people at age 40 talking about fear of aging. Seize the day. There's nothing really to fear other than your thoughts about it. There's one of my favorite books I summarized by Brene Brown. Brene Brown, the vulnerability and shame researcher, has produced quite a few books, and I think I've done summaries of 3 or 4 of her books, which are on my website. And then, of course, there's my sizzle reel. There's also resources under the speaking tab for my keynotes, my workshops, and also I am still mentoring people for presentation skills.
You bet. We had a technology glitch there, so I'll bring back your website, and I'm going to play that video. We can discuss the website in further details, but I'm going to play that video. That's pretty exciting on your site there. So,
my silly side.
Yeah. So
but it's meaningful fun.
Okay. Yeah. So let's see. I believe this is the one, and I'm going to just go ahead back to your home page here. I will share the screen.
Cool.
All right. Let me know if you can hear the audio as well. Okay.
Sure. Yep. Can hear.
Somebody near you and say, I make me and you make you. Fantastic. Now turn back to that person and say, by the way, you did a great job. When were you successful? Build on your successes. I want you to ingrain what went well and take ownership of it. And tell me, what did you do that made that happen? I wish I were a glowworm. A glowworm never go up, because how can you be grumpy when the sun shines out your bum. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
My audiences tell me that they leave my resiliency programs with a lighter load and a brighter outlook. They have better ways to manage their stress. They better understand emotional intelligence and how to use it. And they are given the message, you are lovable, you are capable, and you're definitely resilient.
What fun that was.
Thank you, Michelle. You're sending me all kinds of love buggy messages.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Are you on the public tab? Are you able to see them streaming in live here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Certainly, Michelle is loving your youthfulness, and she has some wonderful comments there, as you've seen.
Oh, I want to say something about loving my youthfulness. I am who I am. I am not youth. I am not a youth. I am a senior. This starts at an early age, Michelle, 57. Be all that you are. See, if I say I am youth, I was a silly youth. I dropped out of high school and then I had to pay for it for years of being sort of embarrassed and not happy with my intelligence. And I went back, and I think it's time for all of us to quit praying or bowing down to youth. I adore youth, and youth are who they are in all their glory. And I am in my glory, and I claim my age. I'll be 74 in December.
Hooray!
Hooray! I got tired of those ageism cards about, another year. Good on you. You don't smell yet. We don't give cards to youth that say, oh, great, you're 17. Enjoy your pimples.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, okay. I'm looking vibrant. I want other words than youthful. Because we celebrate when people look younger. I have done a good job of taking care of this vintage body. I do have arthritis in it. I'm wearing hearing aids. Which one did I come from? I'm wearing hearing aids. Yeah, it's taken me a bit of work to keep this vintage body in fairly decent shape.
Absolutely. So maybe tell us a bit more while we're on the topic here about the website. I'm going to bring it back up again here. We played the video, and I'm going to bring it back up. Anything else on your website you'd like to direct our attention to while we're here?
Well, if people are interested in, I'm learning how to do workshops online and talks online. Actually, tomorrow, I'm part of the Master Your Grief Summit that's online. And by the way, anybody can go and Google Master Your Grief. And it's a summit for acknowledging the losses in your life, right up to the losses, including COVID, such as I am missing the hugs of my grandkids. I'm missing my friends. I'm missing regular meetings, and I'm missing a sense of space, going out into the malls, for example. And I'm missing my hairstylist. Oh, my hair is really bugging me. So yes. Anyway, if anybody wants to talk to me about that, if they click on the speaking tab, Dune, if you can click on the speaking tab at the top, we look at blogs, you will see keynotes, workshops, and then mentoring. If anybody's already doing workshops or presentations and they want some support, I offer support. I was the creator of a program through the CAPS, the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, called the Fast Track Program for Emerging Professional Speakers. And through that program, I mentored over 200 people. And then 3 years ago, I became a TEDx speaker coach. I've also been a trainer for United Way Impact Speakers. So I've done a fair bit of speaker training, as well as what we learn in Toastmasters, right, Dune?
Yeah, Toastmasters is great. I don't know if you know, I actually started a Toastmaster club as a president of their charter club a number of years ago, and quite an experience, hey?
Good for you. Well, I was a member for 15 years. Yeah, and then I moved more into mentoring people, which kept me sharp, because I kept in that speaker program. I kept bringing in experts on branding, on, of course, communications, on marketing, on sales. And so I developed, after 12 years, I developed quite an expertise in that area.
You bet.
Yeah.
You're being modest when you said that, because really you are the core and the lead and the sort of the essential part of what we call the speakers fast track program, which was quite famous in Calgary for a number of years, a dozen of years or so, and very successful in preparing a lot of professional speakers to take it to the next level. And so kudos to you and your team on that. And so lots of contributing back to your local community for sure.
Right. Well, actually, it's still being used in Singapore.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah. Right. Anything else on this website before we move on from the website, Patricia?
Take a quick look shop if anybody's interested. I kind of got carried away with writing. So books on, there's From Woe to Wow, How Resilient Women Succeed at Work. They're available in ebook format as well as hard copy. Gag Your Nagging doesn't sell very well because husbands get smacked if they bring it home. And women don't want to take it home, but it's got over 600 nags on how to communicate clearly. And all those special, those small ebooks, they're only 99 cents. And they are about 12 pages. And they have tips on communication, how to blow your own horn, how to better manage your stress, how to speak so that you're heard, how to use strengths. So I think some of those for 99 cents, if you want to strengthen any of those areas, it's a good little investment of 99 cents. And also the book that Scott has had me over the years that I'm fairly well known for is the one about my daughter. So it's called Love Her As She Is, Lessons from a Daughter Stolen by Addictions. I think are you on the, you must be on the ebook page. Yeah, it should be in there. Anyway, for 11 years, our adopted daughter was in jail. She collected 42 convictions, and I did not know what to do. So my claim to fame is for 11 years, once a month, I wrote her a letter telling her I loved her. And those letters eventually turned into a book with 14 ways to love unconditionally with clear boundaries. It has helped hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe thousands. And it's available in ebook and the hard copy form. It's our journey, and she's an amazing person with brain impairment. We did not know about fetal alcohol spectrum disorder 40 to 5 to 50 years ago. Nobody knew about fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. And so she went through the cracks all her life. And finally, at the age of 4, we got a diagnosis for her.
Now
And
we
so
missed that. Is it age of 40 something? You said.
age 40 years of age.
Yeah.
It took
Yeah.
me till she was 40 to
Mhm.
get finally. We adopted her when she was 6.
Mhm.
We were her 5th family, and she ran away and joined Satan's Choice biker gang when she was 16. And from 16 to 27, in and out of jail with 42 convictions. And then I send her this letter, once a month saying, basically, I love you.
Mhm.
And she finally said, I've never asked for help. I need your help.
Mhm.
And from age 27 to 40 was another journey to try to figure out what the heck is going on that you can't function in the world. And it turned out that she does have a disability, and my husband and I continue to support her. We manage her money. I manage her meetings. I go to all important meetings. Her memory is dreadful. Any abstract concepts such as money or time is next to impossible to understand.
Mhm.
And she's 51, and she's held down a job at the baby department of Toys R Us
Mhm.
for 7 years.
That's
I'm so
huge
proud of her.
success right there. That's huge
Oh
success.
my goodness. And she has taught me so much. I call her my main teacher. I
Mhm.
learned to love unconditionally because of her. My relationship with her, I've learned I have no control over anybody's behavior, but I have a huge influence. And my biggest influence is how I live and how I love. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And um, now, as I look at your website, that there's a lot of different aspects to it. Our viewers can certainly check out your Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. You're all over social media there as well. I don't know where you find all the energy to do all of that stuff, but kudos on you, good on you. And so tell us, moving sort of from there. As you think about COVID, sort of back to the situation here again, what would be some advice that you can give to our viewers to kind of make the best of the situation from your perspective? What are some top of mind ideas?
Well, it depends on their situation, because as I told you when we opened, from my experience of supporting people online, there are people that their stress levels are going out the roof, and they need to. I have a couple suggestions for them. Those people that are home with children, all of a sudden being teachers and supposed to continue with some of their work responsibilities, plus maybe they don't have childcare available right now. That's starting to open up, or they might not have they may have had a cleaning professional coming in once or twice a month. All of that is not available to them, so they're having to put on all kinds of different hats. My main suggestion in that situation is to have a family meeting and talk about who's struggling with what, and for the family all to brainstorm what we can do to put in some solutions, and meet once a week and check are our solutions working, and what would we want to do different. And by the way, there is an article on my website called Family Meetings, and it walks you through how to have a family meeting that not only is productive and solution oriented, but it's fun. So that's my main suggestion there. And like one of the things that the parents can ask for is, I would like for half an hour to 40 minutes of me time, just to get away. I love you all. I like some me time just for me, to be with me and treat myself to something that's special for me. Now the other end, there's been a woman that I've been supporting who was just coming out of a depression after being bullied in the workplace. She left the workplace, so she doesn't have any friends there. Her boyfriend died a year ago. She doesn't have really any family, very isolated. And I got asked if I would reach out to her. And she is now providing, she's bilingual, she's providing tutoring online to immigrants on increasing their French, improving their French. So this is a season of service. There's many seniors that have lawns that need kept, leaves to be raked, pets to be walked, food to be dropped off of. So if you are feeling at that bored end, reach out to somebody at least once a day. Take Sunday off if you like. But that is probably the main action for people is to do that. The second is to take some time and discover your gifts. And I, on my website again, there's an article called about strengths. You just, in the search engine, write strengths. If you know your gifts and you use your gifts every day, you will feel like your life's on purpose. Many people, their purpose has been going to employment or out doing their regular jobs. And so for them, they have to find some kind of new purpose. First week of the staying home, I was signing up for courses. I was kind of sleeping in a lot, napping, more TV. The second week, I got quite creative. That's it's one of my top strengths is creativity. I love making video. So I started getting creative. I don't know if you saw my little video called.
I have seen them, yes.
Well, the first one I did was called Make Your Day Bearable. It's my daily video. It's on YouTube.
Here's what I'm going to do. Tell me if there's a video. I would love to watch with our viewers here. One of your videos that you're referring to, whether it's on your website or YouTube, I can find it pretty quickly if you tell me where to go.
Well, if you Google if you Google YouTube, Patricia Morgan, it should come up. Whoa, a while, there's a playlist. The teddy bear one. It's super fun if you're interested in fun.
Okay, well, fun is.
I don't know that you knew this, but for the month of May, I've been posting every day a 1 to 2 minute video on a word that supports resilience, all the way from the word acceptance. And my last word, which isn't up yet, is uplift.
Yeah, I'm going to share that. So give me a second here. So tell me the correct one to hit play on, and we'll make that happen.
Oh, okay. So there's a section for COVID. There's a playlist for COVID. Can you click on the playlist, Dune?
You bet. You know what? I think we're on the wrong tab here. Give me a second.
That's okay. Thank you, Michelle. Yes, my daughter Kelly does say that I saved her life. Yeah. Just so you know, the majority of people, adults who live with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, the majority of them are either in jail or homeless. They need a really solid support system. And it's a very complicated disorder. Yeah. Well, that's my website. Oh, no, that's my YouTube channel. Exactly. Okay. So if you click on the COVID, during COVID-19, deal with your stress, you click on that playlist. And then the one at the very top, there we go. There's my Make Your Days Better. That was a week and a half in. I was just like, okay. I was sitting at my computer and this music came on and I leapt up and I thought, I want to share this with my grandkids. So I recreated my happiness of hearing this song. And that's my husband cutting my hair. That's pretty funny too.
Yeah, let's roll here.
Yeah. You don't have to play it all, too. Staying inside.
There you go. So you have some fun going on there, right? There's
Yeah. Now the 1 minute to 2 minute playlist for it's called Resilience Words. There I would invite people to choose the one that would support them. So there's all the way from the word heal to acceptance to acknowledge. That's about acknowledging yourself, acknowledging other people. I think I've got 19 up, and I'll put the rest for the month up. But every day on LinkedIn, Dune, you can go and see my video.
I've seen many of them. Whether sometimes I see them in LinkedIn, sometimes I see it in different platforms because you pop up quite often, and lots of fun stuff there for sure. And Michelle is loving what you've shared here. So
we started a Ninja Fairy page in our community. We're reaching out to each other, making each other's day. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, you have a number, at least two sides to the work that you do: the serious side, and then the fun and spunky side. And do you ever go to an event where you do both of those? You go to a big event, convention, or whatever, and they ask you to do both of those?
Yes, and I usually build it in. So I have a keynote I've been doing for years called the rubber band principle, because we use a rubber band to stretch as an analogy. And there's just three main points. Of course, each point can be done in 2 minutes, or I can take 20 minutes or a half an hour to do each point. So first point is take care of your body. Second point is listen to your talk and your self-talk. And the third point is lighten up. So then once I get to talk about building your resiliency muscle, because if we just take ourselves too seriously, the resiliency muscle gets tight, doesn't get stronger. The biggest joke on the planet might be how seriously we take ourselves. And the resiliency researcher Al Siebert talked about resilient people demonstrate resilience. We're all resilient to some extent, and we can develop our resiliency muscle similarly to developing social intelligence and emotional intelligence. So is a tolerance of the uncertainty, the paradox of life itself. We're born to die. We die, and then something else is born. We give up a job and another one comes, or we create one, or an idea disappears and another one comes. A friendship ends and another friendship enters. So this whole a paradox of up and down, bad and good, light and dark. There's a part of me that is willing and honors the darkness, the sadness, the fear, the hurt, the pain, the wounds. I can talk about wounds. And there's a part of seeing the light. We've got sunrises and sunsets and the dark night and the light day. So it's all. Now I have a presentation that I do for seniors conferences, and it's the last point again is lighten up.
Wonderful. So tell us a bit more of what your thoughts are on all this virtual thing. Do you think it's here to stay somewhat? Do you think we'll get back to exactly the way we were with events and speaking? And what's your crystal ball telling you about our events industry?
The speaking industry. I think you take your best guess. I don't think the virtual is going to go away. I think it's going to increase. You take your best bet. And I have a sense that I'm pretty sure about how today's going to look for me. That's what I count on. I know I'm going to be on with Dune. I'm counting on that, and I'm disappointed if it doesn't happen. And beyond that, I'm finding what works for me and my mental health is to take my best guess. I believe it's going to take not a month, a year or more before we're allowed to have 50 or more people gather. So the speaking industry may change in a way that maybe there's more of us with smaller groups and more of us doing what we can online.
Yeah.
I was significantly surprised when that was the second week of the isolation with COVID, when I did the video of the teddy bear. And by the beginning of April, I sent out an email saying I was offering 3 counseling sessions. Then I found out that I needed to learn how to do online therapy effectively. I went into a spin. I had to have a whole nother set of consent forms. I took a quick course on how to do therapy online. And then I had to learn how to use Zoom, Dune. I did a click, and I had to learn how to manage that. So I went on a 4 to 5 days. I was just spinning with like a high learning curve. But what surprised me, which I wasn't prepared for, was just how effective it can be. Oh, my hair again. Oh, good. That I feel connected to the person in the screen.
Absolutely.
And the person, I've been getting feedback that they feel supported and they are able to go deeply into their inner space. Now we have to set up a whole safety piece that you put a sign on the door, no interrupting, you go somewhere quiet, you know, have to make the space, and I have to have actually the phone number of the local police station. And then when we end the session, I say, this is how we do a virtual hug. We need to have this largest skin in our body touched, stimulated, right? There was research study done in the 1940s by a researcher called Bowlby, and he brought in to an orphanage where children were dying at age 2 and 3, brought in women from an institute down the way in that community to play and touch the children, and many of them survived and went on to successful living. And then Montague in the 1970s wrote the book Touch. So that's why we take pets into senior homes. That's why people go into senior homes and touch the seniors. That's why it's such a crisis now that those seniors that are in homes and or at home alone, they're not getting, not even Meals on Wheels is coming into their home. They're not getting the touching need and the contact that they need. Many people have arranged for iPads to go in to their senior mom or dad, which has been a big help because we can make contact with our voice, our facial expression, and encouraging them to experience and imagine that they're getting a hug from somebody else.
I'm going to tell you a quick story about my son. So my son, as you know, I have 2 sons. One is 20, one is turning 18 here. So 18-year-old one, Alexander, when he was about 5 or 4 or 3, I don't remember, something like that, 4 or 5 years old, he said to me, to my family, you know, mom, my wife and I, and his brother, he said, you know, I did some research and, you know, I found out that 8 hugs are necessary for maintenance, he says. 8 hugs are necessary for maintenance and 12 hugs are necessary per day for growth. And so what he was doing was that every day he would count how many hugs he get from us. And at the end of the night, when I go and tuck him in, he would say, I got 12 hugs today. I got 15 hugs today. And when we're about to hug, he's like, oh, I'm 14. I'm about to get my 15. So he had a game with it, right? That was kind of fun.
Oh, Dune, that really excites me. And I bet you, the way you told that story, you don't know the source of it. That's from the groundbreaking family therapist, Virginia Satir. It's in her book. That, yes, you need, 6 hugs to stay alive. It's either 5 or 6 to stay alive. 8 for, wait, what was the 8 he said for?
No, he said 8 for maintenance, he called it. Is what I remember.
Yeah. For me, that's 12 for growth. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened is even to this day, we hug a lot. Like every time, you know, if I go out, even just to the mailbox and come in the door, we hug. That's the first thing we do. That's just, you know, it became a routine. Yeah. So,
Fantastic.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, it brings us alive.
mm-hmm,
Uh, you can actually, if you get enough hugs, Dune,
mm-hmm.
from enough people, you can actually be on a high equivalent to marijuana.
There you go. Didn't have
Yeah, yeah.
no GSD in that. Just kidding.
Right.
I don't.
No, yeah, it stimulates.
I
The
don't
cells
even.
alive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So Patricia, as you said yes to my request to kind of join us here, was there anything else, stories or an aspect of your work or an aspect of ideas that might benefit from our viewers that you wanted to share that we haven't gotten to yet? Anything that's kind of anything at all that comes to mind that you'd like to share? Just keeping it open here.
Well, excuse me. I want people to know that they're in charge of their life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people living with people that they don't like. This is a time to question your life. We're many of us on pause and asking ourselves some questions. It's healthy to ask those questions with curiosity and compassion. And I will go back to, if you're stuck as to how to have a meaningful life, the philosopher Hillel said, if I am not for me, who will be? So you need to leave space for yourself. Know yourself. Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. Hillel's quotation has a second part. So if I'm not for me, who will be? If I am only for me, what is the point? And so in this season of service, ask yourself what little or big contribution you can make to having us, the population of the world, move through this time. And it doesn't matter whether you put a plant out on your porch, windowsill, whether you wave at somebody and say hi, or whether you pick up the phone and say, I was thinking about you. I know you're living alone. How's that for you? I wish I could come and give you a hug. So do what you can. And I often end my talks with, do your best, let go the rest. Worrying about the future. There's an old funny saying that says, I worried and I worried and worried. You see, it worked because none of it happened.
There you go.
But what a waste of time. It's like being in a rocking chair.
Yeah.
So I actually have one of the people I'm supporting. I had them create so if anybody's out there worrying, find the most uncomfortable chair in your house, really uncomfortable, and make that your worry chair. And you're only allowed to worry while you're in the chair. You're wasting time anyway, so that'll point it out. And you're not allowed to get out of the chair. Be really disciplined with yourself. Only allowed to get out of the chair if you can leave the worry there in the chair. Okay, so that's where. Okay. And past, if you're into regrets and guilt, interesting article on my website, a little process to help you get through that. Also, if anybody wants to email me with a specific challenge right now, I'm certainly glad to email back with some resources or suggestions. We're all so different. We all have our different fingerprint, and I get annoyed when I listen to some of the commentators on TV and say, "Oh, we're all under incredible stress right now." Well, maybe not. Own what's going on for you. If you're having a joyful time, you're introvert and enjoying lots of time to yourself, that's okay. And if you are experiencing stress to the point of anxiety and can't function, I wouldn't say that's okay. I would say do something different to take care of yourself. You deserve the support and the kind of feedback and insight that may help you better cope. To you and your loved ones deserve it.
Yeah. So 2 more things I want to cover before we wrap up here, Patricia.
Okay.
First thing is tell us a story, any story of either your speaking engagement, either your counseling sessions that are obviously anything that's you can share that's nondescript and whatever have you. Any sort of story that resonate with you that you think would be resonating with our viewers. Do you have a story like that stands out? Can you hear me still?
Yep, I can. I'm pondering what story to leave people with, and I'm going into my my data bank. My kids say to me, "Mom, how is it that you can forget so much, but you keep talking?" I said, "Well, there's enough reserve in there." I encourage people to declare who they are. This is time for introspection. It was about 25 years ago that I met a mentor of mine. That's another wonderful empowerment piece you can do for yourself, is find somebody you admire. You don't have to tell them that they're mentoring you, but make relationships, or you can say, will you be my mentor? I have people calling me speaker mummy. Somebody called me speaker grandma, and I wasn't okay with that. Speaker mummy, I can handle. And one little change can make all the difference in your life. So I met my mentor about 25 years ago, and she's a little petite shaman psychologist, and she put her hand out to me, and she said, "And who are you?" And I said, "My name is Pat Morgan." And she said, "Oh, that's an awful small name for such a magnificent woman. Isn't your name Patricia?" Now, in my head, I flashed back to my childhood, and all I could hear in that moment was, "Patricia, get your behind out here." And I knew I was in trouble. And in that moment, I looked her, Gwendolyn Jansma, in the eyes, and I said, "Yes, my name is Patricia. And from now on, I am going to live in the fullness of my name." This is a time where you can live in the fullness of who you are, regardless of the challenges, or regardless, a challenge might be boredom, or it might be over the moon responsibility on your shoulders. But you, in this time of COVID-19, you can show up as you.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So that's a great story. Love it. I love it. Again, our viewers now or later, Patricia's website is solutionsforresilience.com. So it is certainly in the post as well as the video. You can see that there. And if you comment or ask questions in that thread, I'm sure Patricia will respond to those in due time. And so with that, I'm going to ask you one more thing. Three words, completely unrelated words that you want our viewers to remember that represent our conversation today, Patricia. What would they be? What would those three words be?
Okay. Lovable, resourceful, resilient.
Wonderful. Lovable, resourceful, resilience. Thank you for sharing that. And with that, we thank you so much for spending the hour with us here today, and all the great resources you have on your website, and both the fun side and the serious side. Our viewers, please take time to check out the website, which I see there's a lot of content and a lot of videos, and in all aspects of how to be more resilient. And particularly during times like this, that is an important word. So thank you again so much, Patricia.
My pleasure.
And to our viewers out there, until we meet again, have a wonderful day, and take good care of yourself and take good care of one another. And again, have a great day and the rest of your week.